Do you try and keep Pogba, or do you look for a replacement?
I try to keep him. And listen, I understand exactly what Craig is saying, but as I look around that Manchester United dressing room, there is not an awful lot of world-class talent. Paul Pogba is. You mightn't get the best out of him in a United shirt, but he's unquestionably world-class talent. Getting the best out of him is a job for the manager and his backroom staff. I think they've failed in that regard. Also, to Craig's point about Manchester United signings, if you're the Glazers, you are worried. You bring in Bruno Fernandes, what was it, 2.5 years ago. You bring in Ronaldo this summer. Those have been successes. But alongside them, you've got Van der Beek and Jadon Sancho, who you spend an awful lot of money on, and questions are still being asked about both of them. You bring in a young player like Tchouaméni, as talented as he seems to be, as good as his showings have been, unless you're a world-class talent, as we've seen with Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes, there are still question marks about young players establishing themselves and growing in their positions at Old Trafford, certainly right now under this staff.
I think if Man United had a big-time manager in there, maybe for Paul Pogba it would be different. But I think he's not blind to the fact that, and we can harp on about Solskjaer brought in Varane and Ronaldo and all. Forget that nonsense. It was money that brought him in. It wasn't the money. It wasn't Sir Alex Ferguson or Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola or Carlo Ancelotti. It's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. These guys didn't come to play for a guy who before this was managing Molde. They came for the money. And players are not stupid. Paul Pogba, as much as I've said, I just think at Man United, it's been fits and starts. I'm not saying he's not a great player. I'm saying at Man United, fits and starts. But maybe if they had what I would call a proper manager, things might be a little different for him, both in terms of performance and in terms of his desire to go and play somewhere else. But I think at this moment, whilst they're floating about, not playing particularly well, getting some results, probably not going to be in the league title race, I'd imagine, I can see why he's going to want to go.
What do you think, Jules? Do you think it's time for Pogba to move on?
Well, what's for sure is that the club wants to keep him, and there's that offer on the table. And what's also sure is that Paul Pogba is going to take his time before deciding what to do, whether he stays, and he's very happy in Manchester, and so is his family at the club. He believes that the club has matched his ambitions in the summer by bringing Rafael Varane, a very good friend of his since they were 15 years old, and Jadon Sancho and Cristiano Ronaldo and all of that. Of course, there's still some work to be done, and maybe a couple of positions to be strengthened, including the one of defensive midfielder, and we'll go back to Tchouaméni or someone else like Declan Rice or whoever else you want. So, but I think he can see what they're trying to do. That's a good thing. Then he will also test the market, and that's what Mino Raiola is doing. And on the notebook today, we also have a story that Pogba has been offered to Barcelona, and I think Mino, because that's what he does, and this is even easier for him, is calling people and saying, hey, Pogba is free next summer. He can come as a free agent. So are you keen? Are you interested? What can you offer? What can you do? Blah, blah, blah. All of this will be taken in consideration by Pogba and his people, and then he will make his decision. He could well stay and be very happy to stay. He could move on, of course. He could as well. I think like Shaka is a world-class player. I would keep him if I was at Man United, and maybe Craig is right. Maybe with a different manager, he would be more consistent and better and more influential even on the team. But I think it would be very, very fascinating to see what happens to him. And then, by deflection, what happens to people like Tchouaméni and other players that the club are currently following?
Frank?
Kay, there is something that we should wonder or ask ourselves is, and that may be upset, Manchester United fans, but where in Europe rankings, best club rankings, stands Manchester United nowadays? To talk about Pogba's future and Tchouaméni's future, you have to know where that club stands now. In terms of history, of course, he's one of the best. But nowadays, the best players, do they want to come to Manchester United? I'm not sure about that. There are so many other locations, other clubs that they want to go to. And I'm pretty sure that Tchouaméni, if he had the choice of, let's say, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, I'm not sure he's going to Manchester United. And if Pogba has Real Madrid or Paris Saint-Germain, I'm not sure he's going to stay at Manchester United.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN Plus.